Hey, welcome back to my channel. On today's episode, I'm going to be doing the holiday season market recap and some predictions for what is to come ahead in 2024. Of course, if you're thinking about buying or selling, you're going to want to make sure you pay attention and stay till the end, where I, as always, will give you insight and advice for both buyers and sellers. So we're not going to waste any time. I'm just going to dive right on in. The median sales price increased by basically 6% month over month from the closeout of November to the closeout of December, landing at $610,000. If you were one of the people who had been following the media narrative that the market was crashing and the sky was falling, I'd really love to hear your opinion now. As I have said all along, the market is not crashing, prices are holding strong, and even in the slowest part of the year, they did increase. We're gonna dive into why that might be and some other insight, so make sure you stay with me. Number of closed sales dropped significantly by nearly 17%, landing at 183 closed sales for the month of December. Nothing to really be concerned about here. It is the time of year where we always see the market cool down. We see a lot of activity come to a halt. That's obviously due to the holidays. People are busy with their families. They're busy dealing with everything, traveling maybe, whatever it is. A lot of people are not thinking about real estate this time of year. Median days to contract increased to 47 days. This is a whopping 56.7% increase month over month. Again, this is due in part to the fact that we have been through the holiday season. It's also because buyers are somewhat picky at this point. There's not a lot of inventory. We're going to get into that. This has been a major factor in our market for several years. Nothing has really changed. If anything, there's less inventory than there was before. The inventory that is online is sitting for a little bit longer than we've been seeing. Percent of list price received barely changed month over month, only by 0.3%. It has decreased, so we're really not going to dive into that number. Prices are holding strong. They're increasing. This has been something I've predicted for a long time. We'll get further into what that means and why this is happening, so stay with me. Median sold price per square foot, still again holding strong. $315 is our median in the Reno Sparks market. Number of new listings, this decreased month over month by nearly 30%, 29.7%, down from the closeout of November to the closeout of December. I'm gonna chalk this up to the holidays. Also, as I've touched on in previous videos, a lot of homeowners are locked in at pandemic interest rates. So it's a really hard pill to swallow unless it's completely out of necessity to let go of a 1 to 3% interest rate and trade that out for something that prior to now was above 7%. I'm gonna get into rates coming down and what that looks like, but we have significantly come down since then, thank goodness, and I'm gonna talk more about that in a minute, so stay tuned. Active inventory, kind of similar to the last metric. This has decreased significantly by almost 22%, coming in at 396 listings month over month. Homeowners have low interest rates, so not a whole lot of motivation to sell. Interestingly enough, though, the month's supply of inventory decreased to 2.2 months. This is nearly a 6% decrease. So that's telling you that our inventory crisis has not gotten under control yet. That is gonna play a huge factor in the year ahead, so I'm gonna get into what that means, so stay with me. If you watched my November market recap last month, you heard me say that this is the calm before the storm because interest rates are predicted to decrease multiple times in 2024. I'm gonna tell you what I think about that in a minute, but as far as price tags, we have to keep in mind that if interest rates do come down, more buyers are gonna be able to play ball. This is gonna cause more competition, which ultimately drives up price tags. So you're probably gonna end up paying for it some way or another, whether it's through a higher mortgage interest rate or through a higher price tag. That said, only one of those two things can be renegotiated in the future. The price of your home, once you buy the home, can never change. Your interest rate, however, you may have an opportunity to refinance at some point. I think we're gonna see a lot of fluctuations. I think we're gonna see a lot of ups and downs with mortgage interest rates. I don't think it's gonna be just a smooth sailing all the way down. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere near the pandemic rates that we saw, but I do think rates are going to continue to come down. There are a few other factors that are contributing to the price tags holding strong, and now, as we've seen, increasing. I do believe that prices are going to continue up. This is why we have had an inventory crisis in our market for a very, very long time. There are far more people who need homes than there are homes to buy. That, coupled with the fact that many homeowners have a ton of equity in their homes, is going to contribute to price tags holding strong. That is really what's going to prevent anything from crashing. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that with home buyers, you have those who are willing and those who are able. Most people are willing. Most people would love to be a homeowner, right? As the rates come down, we are gonna see more and more activity. That said, with the low amount of inventory available, it's definitely gonna have a huge factor with competition, which is gonna continue driving home prices up. One thing I did want to draw your attention to is that while home prices rose just 6% month over month from November to December, year over year, that number actually increased drastically. Even though 2023 hit a historical high for mortgage interest rates and was overall a pretty tough year, we're still seeing prices increase, which means equity is increasing, which means that if you bought your home a year ago, chances are it's still worth significantly more right now than it was at the time of purchase, which means purchasing was still a good move as far as your overall financial strategy. Rental rates for single families are still coming in a bit lower than a monthly payment on a mortgage at this time. There are still obviously a lot more benefits, in my opinion, to being a homeowner than to being a renter, but at this point in time, it doesn't make sense to purchase a single family home for an investment that you're planning to rent if you're paying with a loan. It also may make more sense for you at this very moment in time to continue renting, building up your down payment amount, building up your credit score, doing all the things that can make your financial health enable you to get a better loan as rates continue to come down. I'm not a fan of rent shaming. If that's the right decision for you, that's great. As always, the best time to buy is when it's the best time for you. Trying to time the market really is not a game you want to be playing. You really want to think about your monthly payment, your income, your overall financial health and picture. That's going to be the best way to figure out when you should buy. Sellers, I think we have all had kind of a long, cold, hard end of 2024. I do believe your moment is here and it's only going to get better. I think that with rates coming down, a lot more activity overall in the market, it's gonna help you if you're trying to sell. That said, a lot more people are putting their listings on the market at this time of year. So you will be competing against other sellers. And if you are planning to sell, now is a really important time to make sure that your listing shines. You want to make sure that it is the best one in its price range in your neighborhood, that your pictures are the best that they can be, that it's clean for showings, because as more inventory comes online, you're going to be competing with other listings that are similar to yours. So make sure that your listing is the best that it can be. Even with more inventory hitting the market, I still believe that sellers are going to have a slight upper hand as we shift into this early spring season. With mortgage interest rates coming down, we are going to have more buyers playing ball. Even though there are going to be more listings, we're still in a huge deficit in that regard, still a huge scarcity problem in our market. So I think this is going to be a great season to list your home. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming content. I put out new videos every single week about the Northern Nevada lifestyle, the Reno Sparks housing market, and of course, all things related to buying and selling properties. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, if you are thinking about making a move in real estate, I'd love to be of service to you. You can book a free call with me. There's a link to do that in the description box below. No obligation, just an opportunity to connect and see if we might be a good fit to work together. I hope you had great holidays, and I will catch you on next week's video.